back to my channel. Tonight I'm going to be making some dinner. I'm going to be doing chicken in a pot as well as a citrus fennel salad on the side. That was my oven preheating. So it's kind of a lot of ingredients, but still pretty simple. Let me show you what I use. So it looks like a lot of stuff on my cutting board. For the chicken, I have a whole chicken breast, and I am going to be cooking that with some potato, carrot, celery. There's some garlic under there, some onion, and some wine and chicken stock. And then for like my herbs, in here I have some salt, kosher salt, black pepper, oregano, paprika, and I'll also be using some thyme. And then for my citrus salad, I have a regular orange as well as a blood orange, some red onion, some radicchio, fennel, and I'll be using some extra virgin olive oil as well as salt and pepper. So for my vegetables, the potato I'm cutting into about 1-inch cubes. I don't want them too small. I don't want them to disintegrate. I'm using a red skinned potato and I'm not peeling it. I'm just leaving it whole. And my carrot, again, I don't want the pieces like too big, but I don't want them in a small dice either. So I'm just gonna do like a medium rough chop on them. Maybe these in half. And same thing for the celery. This is just gonna make a bed for the chicken to cook over. And then the other thing that kind of popped out in my celery stalk was this really slender piece with the leaves, and the leaves do give a nice flavor, so I'm gonna use it. And I do take the rib out. I kind of trim that. This I'm just gonna kind of rake like that. And same thing for the onion. Similar to the potato, just kind of roughly chop them. My garlic cloves are on the smaller side, and I'm just going to leave those whole and kind of nestle them into the vegetables. And now I have that ready, and I'm just going to set it aside. The spices, I went ahead and stirred it up together, and I did already rinse my chicken and patted it dry. I was gonna trim off like the little bits of excess chicken fat, but I'm not going to. Since I'm not using butter, I will just go ahead and leave that. And then to this, I am going to kind of separate the skin from the meat, and I will season liberally. If you need to adjust the measurements, you can go ahead. You can do this with chicken breast. You can do this with just like chicken legs. You can, do the whole chicken. It kind of also depends on the size of the pot that you're using. I'm using a small cast iron pot. You will need to have a heavy bottomed, either cast iron or like coated enameled pan, and that can go in the oven because this is going to start on the stove but then end in the oven. So I've had my pan heating up slowly. I don't have any oil in it right now. I am going to start by browning the chicken, and I think I'm going to do this one at a time just so I don't overcrowd it. And I'm going to start skin side down. I'm just looking for some color, and then once that has happened, I will transfer it onto a plate and then start on my vegetables. Now, this is what you're going to be looking for. You want your skin to crisp up a bit. You want to get a little bit of color on the meat. You are going to get some crispy bits on the bottom. Don't worry about that. That's supposed to happen. I'm just going to give this a little more time and try to brown as many sides as possible. And then I'm going to fish this one out. Now that my chicken is out of the pot, this is still smoking. I am going to just put my vegetables in all at the same time. And because I'm using cast iron, I use a wooden spoon. I don't use any metal utensil for this. I'm gonna put a pinch of salt. And then I have some white wine. It's probably about a half a cup. And then just go in and scrape the bottom. And if you'd like to add some black pepper, you can do that too. I'm going to be adding chicken stock as well, but I'm just going to give this I'm going to cover this just for like a minute or less. So I've added some black pepper. And I'm going to add some chicken broth. I do have some chicken broth in the freezer, homemade, but kind of saving that for something else, so I'm just going to use some broth in a box. Okay. And then I'm going to put in my garlic. And my thyme. I'm just leaving the garlic whole. I was going to put garlic powder on the chicken, but did not, since I am doing whole garlic in here. And then the chicken is going to go back in. And then I'm going to cover this and put it in a preheated oven. And right now I'm going to guess that this may take about 20-25 minutes, but I will very likely be checking on it. Now, for the fennel salad, I do start with radicchio as my base. I guess you could say it is a composed salad. If you don't have radicchio, you can also use arugula, would be really nice. And I'm just going to cut this into long strips. And basically just put this on a plate. If you don't have either radicchio or arugula, you don't even have to use it. You can just do the citrus and the fennel and the onion. But I do like having a little bit of a leaf below, but it's not necessary. And then for my citrus, I'm actually going to start with the blood orange, just to kind of show you in case you're not familiar. But it's called that because basically the color is darker It can range from a deep orange to a super dark red. And for this particular salad, I do want to cut it this way. And then I'm going to slice it into rounds. They might have seeds, they might not, but, and you can make as much as you want. I mean, I'm just gonna do one blood orange and one navel orange, but if you're making this for a group, you can, you know, get out like a nice long platter, or, you know, just arrange it a little bit differently. So basically I have my fruit, and I'm gonna cut it about 1/4 of an inch thick. So I'm going to just set this aside, and I'm gonna cut the navel orange the same way. And in regards to the blood oranges, winter time is typically the season for citrus, or where you'll find them in the store. Now, in regards to fennel, there's actually 2 different kinds, or two different sexes. This is the female one. The female one tends to be a little bit longer. The male will be a little bit rounder. Now, they say that you're supposed to cook the female ones and eat the male ones raw. However, to me, it doesn't, you know, doesn't really make a difference. Sometimes the outer stems may be a little bit tough. If that's the case, you can always go in with your vegetable peeler, like if there's any blemishes, and then just kind of peel them off. And then what I'm gonna do with this, I will basically, I don't even need the whole thing. Cut it down the middle. And this is a palate cleanser, so you can always eat this like after a meal. It's good for digestion. I'm just gonna cut this kind of thin. I don't need a lot, but you know, of course, if I was making a lot more, I would cut more. Okay. And then same thing with my onion. I'm just going to slice it finely. Actually, that may be good for right now. And then it's all about arranging. So you're basically going to shingle them. I'm going to start with the orange one. And you could go around the plate. You could do this in rows. It honestly, it's totally up to you. And then with the fennel, you can basically tuck this in also. Or if you find that the flavor may be too aggressive for you, you can dice this even further. And then just sprinkle the onion on top. The onion is a personal preference, but it's a nice contrast. And then some salt. And pepper. And a drizzle of olive oil. that's your salad. And this is right out of the oven. So this is really easy. Basically, to serve it, you can scoop up some of the vegetables and the broth. And then I'm gonna slice up some chicken. So to finish the chicken, I would drizzle it with a little bit, just a little bit of olive oil. And some parsley for color. Now, if you have leftovers of the salad, that's fine. It can keep for a day or two in the fridge, so don't worry about that. And the chicken, if you make a bigger batch than needed, that also makes really great leftovers. Thank you so much for watching. I will have a detailed recipe down below of both dishes. Please remember to like and subscribe to my channel, and if you have any questions, please list them down below and I will get back to you. Thanks. See you next time.